Rob, moving on to football, obviously this time of the year, we're wrapping up the respective domestic leagues around the world. Mamelodi Sundowns winning the PSL. Leicester City obviously was the fairy tale story last week and this season, and they lifted the cup this weekend. But now it's sort of that final scrap, those sort of last few permutations and for Europa and Champions League places. And how's that looking? And looking at the other end of the table, who's likely to get the chop?
Rather not talk about the bottom end actually as a Newcastle fan, because we're looking incredibly doomed. I'm needing a major favour from Garen's Everton, which is looking very unlikely considering that Everton's form is pretty wretched, although in fairness to them they've got more than enough points to stay up. They're not worried about that side of things, but I really need an Everton win against Sunderland away in midweek, because if Sunderland win, Newcastle are relegated. It's that simple. In fact, Newcastle and Norwich are both relegated. So that could mean that the whole relegation issue is taken right off the table before we even go into that final weekend, and I suspect that might happen, sadly. But at the top, you mentioned Leicester. Obviously, I was very chuffed that they actually won that last home game. It really sort of showed them as worthy champions. They went. I think they did go 3-0 up, didn't they, Garen, against Everton, and were looking pretty strong. Everton did pull a goal back, but they had the mark of champions, and I'd sort of thought, maybe considering the first-time nature of their sort of celebrations and everything, that they might not really be looking at the ball too much for that last home game, but they managed to put the old Bubbalas to bed and actually still produced a really decent performance. So a fitting end to their season at home. Massive party in Leicester. You saw those images of people in the town square driving cars with balloons and champagne and flags all over the city. Great little sort of success story for them. But the other big story, of course, Man City, Arsenal. Arsenal holding Manchester City at home, which is a great result for Arsenal in terms of their ability to make sure of a Champions League spot. City really needed the win, but Arsenal, I think, came from behind twice to level the game at 2-2, and probably sort of a fair enough result in the end. So Manchester City now sort of quaking a little bit about their status for Champions League heading into next season.